Welcome back to the After Dark podcast where we discuss topics that are none of our business. It's your boy Black Mike on the mic. We got Big Stir up top. We got the OG CTO in the house. We got Tap Chad. What's good, brother?
I'm doing good. I heard I'm get shit on, but I think I will bring the shit.
Yeah, we're gonna really let our bowels move.
Whoa, hey, Paul.
Hey, Drake said it, dog. Drake said it first, not me. But we're going to go ahead and get into this show, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you like and subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you never miss an After Dark episode. Wherever you're listening on audio platforms, leave a comment. Leave 5 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, whatever you're really feeling, to be honest. Just leave some stars. Or give us a no star, too. I would prefer that because y'all ain't leaving nothing in anyway. So go ahead and do that. All right? All right. So we usually start this. I usually ask Sterling how he's doing, go into his week. But, I mean, I think it's very clear what everybody's been doing this past weekend. And it has been glued to this Drake versus Kendrick showdown, an absolute showdown. If you're a listener to this pod, a regular listener, you know that me and Sterling are Team Drake fans, but at the end of the day, we're hip-hop fans, so, we want to see a good battle. It's not that deep, but it kind of is. And then, our boy Chad is a Kendrick fan, and the only person in the whole entire world that I know that does not like anybody from the top 3 of Young Money. He doesn't care for Lil Wayne, doesn't care for Nicki Minaj, he doesn't care for Drake. So that makes Chad a very unique person, and that's why he's perfect to be on this episode. We are going to go ahead and start from the beginning. Well, not from the very beginning, but from Euphoria. Kendrick dropped Euphoria after Drake has been egging him on to drop music, following from push-ups to tailor-made freestyle, where he told him, nah, not this time. You're following through. And so Kendrick absolutely followed through with Euphoria. Let's go ahead and break it down. Sterling, Chad, whichever one of y'all want to start, what was your initial reaction to Euphoria? How do you think it landed for Kendrick in the grand scheme of things?
I want to let Chad roll this one because that's his homie.
Oh, okay.
I want him to roll off of it. That's his homie, bro.
I loved Euphoria. So here's my deal. Whenever I listen to music in general, there are a few tracks that I like that are dense, like, have fun tracks. But I don't really listen to music to, like, dance around and have fun. I like storytelling in my music, so I guess that's why I like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole that much, because they are storytelling.
J. Cole? I thought he was invisible.
Nah,
we don't really speak of J. Cole these days.
We don't need to bring him into the beef. I'm just talking about artists that I like.
J. Cole didn't represent for North Carolina. Niggas really talking shit about North Carolina these days. I saw this one.
Wait, really?
Yeah, bro. Somebody was like, yeah, J. Cole backing out some pussy shit, but then again, he is from North Carolina. I'm like, bro, J. Cole, this money about to throw on us now, dog. Like, some bullshit.
No, dude, I think J. Cole did the right thing of backing out because this thing got messy. But yeah, I really like Euphoria. I like the reference to like that came with 3 switches and switched the beat up 3 times. That was a good one.
That was cool.
I think Drake also did a good job of playing on that later on down the road. But yeah, this is where the bad stuff starts, getting teased a little bit. He starts bringing up some of the dark stuff that we get into later, like if I can go back. Oh,
Sterling, what was your initial thoughts of Euphoria?
I mean, I hate.
It's a safe space, Sterling. Go ahead and speak your truth.
I hate to admit it, but I mean, he had a bop here, like Euphoria was a bop. Like, it's a bop. Like, I fuck with it. Like, obviously, like, with the reference to not only Euphoria in terms of like the actual feeling of Euphoria being the denotation of Euphoria, but also the reference to the show Euphoria, where they basically over-sexualize people that are supposed to be playing technically children, like 16, 17-year-olds.
That Drake also executive produces.
Yes, and he also EPs for it. But I do think, and I like, unfortunately, like, it's hard to grab every single bar off of every single track because both of the artists, like both of them have dropped, good songs. I mean, really, just ultimately, you got to like give them their flowers regardless of whatever side of the battle you're on. And I think Kendrick did a good job of coming back with something that was relevant, something that was going to catch attention, and also something that was going to continue to keep this beef going. Obviously, if he went any longer from not dropping, I feel like Drake would have like started like throwing subliminals out there again, and making him look like kind of like a bitch online, like, just to be fair. And right now, Kendrick, and we'll get to it, but Kendrick this is his Super Bowl. This
for
is
sure,
Kendrick's
for
Super
sure.
Bowl, and you could tell that it's his Super Bowl too. You could tell the way he's going about it.
This is also like, so I don't know how you all want to look at it, but in my opinion, neither rapper has brought receipts from what they say. So I'm just taking it as the narrative that has unfolded this past week. So for me, this is where the start of the narrative that makes it hard for me to later on believe one or the other starts, where especially like, fabricating stories on the family front, because you heard Mr. Morale. Save that till we get down the road and just listen to that one verse and start thinking about it for a little bit.
So I agree. I thought Euphoria was, I personally think that's the best diss track that Kendrick dropped. Not the best bop, but diss track. I think Euphoria was the best one that he dropped. That was masterclass Kendrick, in my opinion. And I don't know about y'all, the way I view it, the first round to me is Push-Ups versus Euphoria. I don't count Like That. I don't count First Person Shooter Mode. And the reason why I don't is because First Person Shooter Mode wasn't like, I don't think they were intending that to be like a diss track. Like, there's shots at Kendrick up there, but also Drake didn't take any shots at Kendrick. It was only J. Cole that took the shot. So it's not fair if Drake has to claim that as his first diss track, if he wasn't even the one that was taking shots at Kendrick on it. The one that took shots bowed out.
I think the same thing as Like That either. I don't believe Kendrick thought that Like That would start up this beef.
I agree with you. I don't think he thought that Drake would have responded. I think that public perception pushed the rap beat, pushed the diss battle onto them. I think Kendrick was just like responding to first person shooter mode. And
I think this was like basically like Control. Like, it was like the Control verse where it was another again, what was it? I forgot who said it, but someone's like, yeah, every time I rap, I say I'm going to be the biggest one alive. It was just another one of those, you guys say there's a big three. I think it's just big me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that he thought, and which is why I think it took him so long to get the ball rolling, because I think once the narrative was that this was the start of a diss, and Drake, came back and confirmed it, then I think that's when Kendrick started cooking up, because, they said he created a 19-minute song and he clearly broke it up into pieces throughout this diss battle. So I do think that that's where it starts. I think that there's a lot of smart moves being played by both of them in each one of the songs, and there's a lot of angles being cleared up. Like, I want to speak to Chad talking about, fabricating stories on the family front. I think that was a smart move by Kendrick, because I think Kendrick knew that Drake knew that is the angle. And I think the smart thing by him was to allude to that he already knew the angle and to kind of cut it off. Kind of the same thing like Drake attempted to do with Taylor Made Freestyle with the Tupac verse. Like, go ahead, talk about me like a young kid. That's a gift for me. Heard it on the Joe Budden podcast, so it must be true. So he kind of got ahead of the angle, and Kendrick did the same thing with the family. So they both knew where they were going to take it, where the other person was going to take it, and I think they did a lot of chess pieces of putting it into their song. Everyone kind of taking the 8 Mile front. That is the masterclass Eminem move, the 8 Mile chess move, where I'm going to say all the shit that you're going to say about me so it doesn't hit when you actually say it. So I think both of them did a really good job of that. But yeah, I think Euphoria is amazing.
In this game of chess, why wouldn't Drake get the sample cleared before releasing the tailor-made freestyle? It's like...
But you can't, bro. He wasn't trying to release it. He put it on Instagram.
Okay.
He put it on Instagram, and I think he knew he wasn't going to get that release. Like, Snoop Dogg's not releasing that. Tupac Estate is not going to release that. I think it was really just like an antics type thing. Like, let me just. I personally didn't think it was a disrespect to Tupac. I thought it was just funny, but
Drake is a leak king, bro. Everything is a chess game. Like, he knows, like, every step. He's already 2 steps ahead of what you're trying to do. Because first off, he's got shooters everywhere, just as much as Kendrick says he's got shooters in Drake's camp too, which I would believe as well. So in terms of like them battling out, like you said, like I think I agree with you. It's like, to me, it's Push Ups versus Euphoria. Obviously, in terms of a greater song, I think Push Ups is the greater song.
I think Euphoria wins that, in my opinion.
But I think Euphoria wins the battle in and of itself. Obviously not the war, but it wins the battle. And right now, when you just look at the scope of things, obviously with where it is currently, and we'll get to it, it's all like it's a boiling volcano. Like, it's all about like who's willing to put out as much information out as possible to win this beef, quote unquote, or to say whatever it's going to take to win. Because regardless if they're true or false, bro, like, I mean, there's always a little bit of truth in every joke, right? Always a little bit of truth. It's never a bold-faced lie, as my parents would say.
Well, so here's the thing, and I'm just going to briefly touch on it, and we can have a more elaborate conversation as we go further on to it, and then we'll move on to the next track we dropped, which I think was 616 in LA. So the one thing that I kind of noticed about Drake's approach in this is I don't think that Drake considered how much this meant to Kendrick and what Kendrick would be willing to do to take the dub. In my opinion, because one, I don't think Drake at any point in this had any kind of. I don't think he wanted to play the numbers game. Like, I don't think that Drake was planning on releasing any of his tracks on DSP. Maybe Family Matters would be the only one before Kendrick started doing it, and everyone, because he was just leaking shit. He was just gonna put everything on YouTube. I don't think Drake was looking to get numbers out of this. And one of the reasons why I don't think so is because Drake's number one away from Michael Jackson. I don't think he wanted to just waste that fucking number one. But I do think that he was probably looking for Family Matters to be that number one, and that's not going to happen. So I do think
Kendrick took that shit.
Yeah, he stepped on.
I think that also makes me believe the validity of Kendrick saying that he has someone on the inside.
No, bro. No.
I don't know, bro.
No,
because
I will say.
No,
do you really think? But the story they told was that they got his father's bag. You think that you just think his dad just walking around with Drake's Ozempic pills, a single Maybach glove, a receipt of Tupac's ring. Like, that's the story they told. That bag in that picture seems more planted than it does, we grabbed Drake's dad's bag.
I think it's only academics that said that's a stuff of Drake's father's bag. And I don't
but he
think
got it
anyone
from Kendrick's team.
front said that we got that from Drake's father's bag.
I'm getting a call from my DoorDash driver.
He reported that from Kendrick's team.
To go back to the plant on the inside, it's like you said, Michael, a lot of this felt pre-recorded. So like, I don't see someone going in, and maybe Kendrick could record all that within a week, but to record that much stuff that is that deep and lyrical, like, for one, if he did that on a week, it shows why this dude has a Pulitzer Prize. But
I personally think Drake out-rapped him.
You think Drake out-rapped Kendrick?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
You are on motherfucking crack.
Well, here's the thing, dude. All of Kendrick's shit sounded pre-recorded. Like, his team said he created a 19-minute song, right? So everything Kendrick was just dropping were written songs. Drake actually, like, what I commend Drake for in his pen is every point that Kendrick made towards him, Drake responded to and rebutted off of it. and played off.
Yeah.
Some of them he missed.
Bended off of it.
Some of them he missed for sure, but at the same time, like Kendrick wasn't doing that. Like Drake was sitting in, like Drake, you could tell Drake was listening to what Kendrick said, hopped in the booth, and was trying to figure out a way to spin it in his favor, which I personally think is like, I think that shows. I mean, I both think they showed that they were amazing writers, but I mean, to me, Kendrick's songs were more about shock factor and what he was saying than actual like lyricism. Like Euphoria was top-notch lyricism, but after that, he kind of got more into just like, what can I? Or in 616 LA, that was really good too. But Meet the Grams, Not Like Us, those are two just like, I'm trying to shit on this dude, but he didn't really go crazy. He had cool flows.
But even in those songs, so the way I see it is, Euphoria has some good double, triple entendres. Meet the Grams is supposed to be like the, what's that dude's name?
Steve Urkel?
No, not Steve Urkel. Sit down, Drake. The dude, the Catch a Predator dude. Meet the Grams feels like a documentary where you're like just outing someone. It's very direct. You know, sometimes they say you got to dumb it down. So
but can we count that song?
Can we count what song?
Meet the Grams.
Yes, we can count Meet the Grams.
How, bro? It's like it's a completely nullified song. There's no daughter.
It's not a completely nullified song. There are no receipts from either side.
The big thing on that song, his red button was the daughter.
The daughter was not the red button.
The daughter was the red button, bro. That was the daughter. Like the pedophile shit, the child trafficking that he threw on Drake was not his red button, because I know that in my heart know that Kendrick knows that he was just trying to ruin Drake's reputation, but like there's no real sentiment to that. But
I don't believe that.
You think Drake's trafficking girls?
No, I don't think that Drake himself is trafficking girls.
You think he's involved though?
I think he could be involved. I don't believe a defense of I'm too famous to do this.
No, that was a terrible rebuttal to it.
That is a very bad rebuttal. And if we want to get, when we get there, like the Heart Part 6 is full of holes. The Heart Part 6 is honestly a masterclass. To me, that feels like Drake wrote it because it's full of holes. So many.
Yes, because he's actually writing and responding. He's not writing music. Like Drake didn't take 2 weeks to just write as many songs as he could. If he would have done that, like the material that Drake would have got out would have been completely different, because it wouldn't have had mentioned any of the shit that Kendrick was talking about. Drake was in real time responding.
And that's why I feel like Kendrick's not lying when he says they have someone on the inside. Like, he had songs that be addressed when Drake put out his song.
So if we're going to be fair and nobody proved anything, the only thing we can do is take everything at face value when it dropped.
Yeah.
Which would nullify Kendrick's shit. Because Kendrick not once said, hey, I didn't beat my wife, Dave Free's not my kid. No one from his team said that.
All that on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, if people want to listen.
They don't want to listen.
It's a diss battle, bro. You can't, we can't, and plus, no one knew that shit that you're talking about, because no one listened to that trash-ass album. That album was weak, bro.
It was not trash.
It was weak. Before this diss battle, when's the last time you played something off that album?
Oh, I play Father Time all the time. That song is honestly taking the spot as my favorite song. I can tear up every time I listen to it.
Oh, no,
and
bro.
you guys know my dad. You guys know how I was raised, and that song describes our relationship almost perfectly.
That's fair.
I think that album just creeped back up into the top 200 this week afterwards, which just kind of shows that nobody was listening to it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people listen to it because it's not a dance pop album. It's something that you have to listen to. And apparently Drake didn't listen to it because he misquoted that album on the Heart Part 6.
No, I have a rebuttal to that, but we'll get to it. All right, let's move into the next song here, because we're getting ahead of ourselves.
616 in LA.
616 in LA. Perfect strategy. One thing I will give Kendrick over Drake in this is Kendrick's timing, his strategy and timing of drops and how he went about that was so above Drake's that it was honestly laughable. Like, you could tell Kendrick put way more thought into the timing of when he was going to drop everything. And so everything, so he did the back-to-back on Drake, which is Drake's move. He did it with 616 in LA. That was a cool track. It was kind of a setup track for Meet the Grams, basically. That was when he told us he had a mole in OVO, a fake one. But a mole nonetheless. We got to take it at face value. So Kendrick said he had a mole. He showed a picture of the glove. So reactions to that. To me, 616 in LA is a battle against tailor-made freestyle. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, he mentions the Twitter bots. You know, when people started, the internet did not help Drake on this one with everyone starting to put up polls. That one poll that had, what was it, like 250,000 in Drake's favor, and then within the first 20 minutes, and then within the next 2 hours, only another like 100 and something things voted.
Yeah.
Y'all Kendrick fans are different, bro. Y'all niggas know everything. Y'all know every damn thing that's going on. Like, yo, y'all.
Well, here's one thing, bro. I feel like all the people who were wanting Kendrick to win, there was nothing Drake could have done that really could have swayed them.
It's very much
because I don't hear anybody who's like a Kendrick fan, not someone who thinks Kendrick won, but like a Kendrick fan. I find it that it's really hard for y'all to compliment Drake, what Drake did in this battle. And I think that Drake showed that his pen is equal to Kendrick's on every level.
I cannot side with that. I think Drake's pen shows that he is good. I think Drake's pen shows that he is good. But like it says, Drake is a hit maker that wants to be at the top. Kendrick
Drake is a rapper, bro. We can't act like Drake don't be rapping, bro.
I can't call Drake a rapper, my guy.
What are
I
you
can call him a great
about?
hip hop and pop artist, but he is not a rapper.
What do you mean, bro? He rap dog, bro.
This is where this all goes back. This is where this all goes back, and people misconstrued stuff. One of the biggest points in this whole rap battle is people, Kendrick's team, and people calling Drake not black. And I agree with that.
Bro, Chad, stop, dude. Chad,
no. Michael.
He has a black dad. It's discussion right there. It's over right there. There's no more explanation.
Michael, you got to pause real quick. I'm not saying he's not black in a sense of he is mixed, because Kendrick then went and said Adonis is black. It's because Drake only claims his black.
How is Adonis black, but Drake's not? Adonis only claim to black is Drake.
Because Drake only claims his black side when it's convenient for him. When he wants
but
to
that
be
doesn't matter, bro. I hate when niggas say that, bro, because that invalidates our kind of black people. Because people will say we're not black.
Yeah.
No, because we don't act like a black person, bro. I don't have to claim the culture to be black. No matter, I'm a black man. No matter what I do in this life, no matter how I act, no matter how Uncle Tom I am, at the end of the day, I'm a black fucking man.
But the difference with us is we're not biracial. We can't jump in to that white side and that white, what's it called?
I understand what you're saying,
favor. Because at the end of the day, even to white people, we look black. We are dark skinned.
But even to white people, when it comes down to it, Drake is black.
At first glance, with everyone, at first glance, they'll say that's a black guy.
They'll say that about, they'll say Drake's a mixed guy. And we all know mixed means black, bro. When at the end of the day, if racism comes back, bro, if Drake wasn't a famous dude, he's gonna be lumped in with the black niggas, bro. He's just as light as my dad. Like, my dad might be lighter than him, bro.
We'll see, but
and my dad's fully black, by the way. I ain't no mixed.
Also, it's the whole culture vulture thing, which I always have seen that. It's like, Drake wants to put out a Jamaican sounding album. Let me have this Jamaican accent. Drake wants to put out a rap album. Let me start going hard in. Okay? Drake wants to put out a pop item. Let me hit my soft side, relate to all the white people right here. It's just I'm pretty sure that when Drake says he's big in Japan, it's because he sings his songs with a broken English accent. there.
Oh, hell.
But I mean, you do know, I always said, why would I say, if I'm speaking in another language or in another culture, why would I do it in the American way? Train Guy used to always get on me for that because I would try to sound like her. But I was like, why would I not try to like sound like you sound? That's how you're saying it. Why wouldn't I say it like that? But
I feel like that's one of the core parts of learning a language is you're going to sound a little racist for a second, but you'll start getting the cadence.
For a second, you'll sound a little racist.
All right,
racist people that have Chinese. No. Let me get my piece out.
Go for it.
No. Look, Chad, I see what you're saying about the conveniency of being black, because being black is the best shit on the planet. No offense to people that aren't black that are listening to this. Two, I don't like that Drake, I can't agree. I don't like that Drake uses when it's convenient for him. But I also understand at the heart of hearts, like my mom always says to me, it's like, if you have a drop of black in you, you are black. Point blank fucking period. Like, that is what you are. Specifically, like, when it comes to black men, obviously black women have their own type of plight, but black men is a whole different world. Obviously, Drake was put on this earth. God made him in a way where he has the versatility. We use the word versatility very loosely sometimes, but he genuinely has versatility because he can make a hit at any type of genre, bro. Any genre you want to. He can go make a country song right now and go number one. Easy, bro. Shaboozy, bro. Have y'all not heard that? That shit is fire. Someone pull me up. That shit's fire. He's black as fuck. Drake gets on the track, gets on the country track. I guarantee you this shit's going number one. It doesn't matter. What I want to say is like I do see where you're coming from, but you have to also understand Drake is a rapper. Drake has continuously throughout his career, when people doubt him on being a real rapper, like being a legitimate rapper, he constantly comes back and says, all right, bet. Like, literally, all right, bet. I'm going to make a banger song and I'm going to rap hard as fuck. Like,
and he's out-rapped every one of your favorite rappers in the past decade. Like, there's a song that you can point to where he's hopped on there and out-rapped.
I just don't see any substance in Drake's lyrics. It's like, you know, if you look at it at face value, it's like, yeah, this is a good song. But if you're like, man, I want this song to hit hard, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just.
Well, do you listen to his early music? Because today's Drake is completely different to how he entered the game.
I know that.
Because when you talk about storytelling, I personally think that there is no one better ever in the rap game at being able to connect with people's emotions. Like, Drake started his career off rapping about, like, his struggles with girls, how they would do him. And the reason why he blew up is because everyone heard that shit and was like, yo, it felt like he was speaking to your soul, bro. Like, everyone connected with it. And that was, like, how he started off.
I think it's the same effect that writers use in, teen novels. Ooh, didn't mean to take the teen jab, but like the Hunger Games, what's it called? The Hunger Games, Twilight. It's when those writers write these generic stories with a generic protagonist that is very ambiguous in like their emotions, so that anyone can read that and be like, "Oh yeah, I can fit in there." The same way that horoscopes are, where you know you read your horoscope for the day, it gives you a bunch of stuff, but they're all general descriptions that like someone at any point in that day can look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, like." Watch out for something, and then you see that one thing, and then it rains, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's what that meant." You know, if I need to watch out for that because I need to bring an umbrella because it's gonna rain, and it's like,
well, that's like, no. Let me cut you off here. That's like saying the Bible is ambiguous, which it is.
It is.
For people that are Christian, it's like that is the gospel. That is how.
But it's also discrediting how hard it is. Like, you're making that seem like that's an easy style of writing. That is hard to do. Trust me, if anyone could do what Drake did, they would have done it a million times over. Everyone's trying to figure out how the fuck Drake keeps doing that shit. It is hard to write lyrics that instantly capture any individual. Okay, so I want to put this in perspective. Because this is how I see it. I see if Kendrick dropped a song and there's 20 of us in a room and we all listen to it right now, there's going to be one person over here who's going to be like, ooh, that was hard. and then 10 other people will be like,
that's straight.
"Well, what was
That's-
hard
that's
about it? I didn't get that." There's gonna be somebody who be like, "Ooh, yeah," and then we have to go back and play it 10 times. The difference between Drake will drop a song and we'll instantly, all 20 people in here, the moment he says a line, it will hit all of us the same way at the same time in real time. And we'll all be like, ooh, as a group of 20 people. Because, like, he writes to a way that, like, because it's not like he's not doing double or triple entendres. He writes to a way that if you're 80, 10, 15, 25, you're going to catch all 3 entendres on first listen in real time. That is hard to do.
Yes, and I can. Is that me that's playing that song?
I don't hear anything.
Where the fuck is this coming from? There we go. Sorry. Something started playing in my ear, and I'm like, where's. No, I will agree with that, and I would say that is a good thing, but that's just not for me.
Okay, so just say it's not for you. How are you going to discredit him as a rapper, though?
Nah, he already could have discredited this whole nigga's career.
I'm not discrediting.
Because neither
it.
one
I'm
of us
just
is
saying
saying
that-
Kendrick is not a rapper. Because I could easily be like, bro,
No, but the
60% of people don't want to hear that boring ass nighttime music, dog. Like, it's a one-time listen and then I'm through with it. I can say that, but I don't because I understand how hard it is to do what Kendrick does. But it's just equally as hard to do what Drake does. Kendrick can't do what Drake does. Drake can't do what Kendrick does. Kendrick can't do what Drake does.
I don't know about that.
Kendrick has 4 #1 hits. One of them is from fucking Taylor Swift. Drake has 13 #1 hits. If Kendrick could do what Drake does, I guarantee you he would try to go for beating Drake in #1
Drake
hits.
put out so much more music than Kendrick Lamar.
That is not a discredit. That is where's your nigga Kendrick at? It takes him 5 years to write a motherfucking album. Drake, that's why he had to take 3 weeks to write a 19-minute song and break them up. While Drake was like, I'm gonna let you sit, and then I'm gonna
You're the only one that wants to be famous. He doesn't want #1 hits.
Do you really believe that, bro? You think when Kendrick dropped, he don't want #1 hit? That's some bullshit, bro.
I think Kendrick Lamar wants to tell
Niggas stop making Kendrick sound like he Gandhi, dog. He write music like he's not actually like that, Chad. Bro, you know me and you would fucking sit here and say, I wish that like homeless people would be better. But at the end of the day, when I get in my house, ain't nobody thinking about no bitch ass niggas, bro. Like, I'm in my fucking crib. I'm chilling.
I did not catch anything you said.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No.
Oh, damn.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, bro, like, I know what Kendrick's music is, but at the same time, like, Drake could sit here and be like, let me write some shit that's gonna fucking be on some there's gonna be on some deep, like, shit, blah, but I don't think Drake likes that type of music. I think to Drake, that's boring ass music. And it would be boring for him to create it.
To each their own, but I'm saying that Drake wants to be at the top. He wants to have those numbers.
So does Kendrick. That's why he's so into this
He
battle.
literally said Big Me. He said it's not the top. It's fuck the big 3. It's just Big Me.
He wants to be #1.
Listen. That is playing on the metrics of, like, who sells the most records, who has the most #1s. That's the metric that Drake is concerned with. Kendrick
Drake does not have to be concerned with that, bro. He drops and he goes #1. I guarantee you, Drake doesn't think about how can I go #1. Drake drops a song and probably like, hey, bro, let's pop some champagne. We about to have a #1 hit tonight. Like, and doesn't even think twice about
the metrics of the peers that they want to recognize them as being #1.
So does Kendrick, bro.
It's the young generation.
We're all humans, dog. Chad, you know we're all humans. You know that at the end of the day, if we're really listening to this diss battle, Kendrick is the one that sounds like he has something to prove and wants to prove something. Drake sounds like he could give 2 shits about this battle.
Drake is not a great person.
Dude,
and
Kendrick
you have to go
is
in hard. You have to go in hard to prove that someone's not a great person.
I can't get it solved.
This top of the level. It's like,
I mean, it depends on the size. If you got decent size, you can go and solve.
Drake is at the top right now. He was at the top of society
for 15 years.
And you have to go in hard to bring someone down like that, because not only do you have to prove it to the people that support you, you have to prove it to the people that support the other side too.
So, but you're telling me that Kendrick does not care about being number one?
He doesn't care about being one.
Because to me, it sounded like he's been jealous of Drake since the start of this whole thing started.
He doesn't care. This is how I feel. I feel as though Kendrick doesn't care about being number one to the same metrics that Drake cares about being number one.
But why do you think Drake cares in numbers? Like, just because Drake gets high numbers doesn't mean that's what he sits here and thinks about. Like, Drake, I guarantee you, Drake don't think about numbers. He knows he's going to get them.
That is a crazy thought. So think about it. So Chad, you're saying this. Kendrick would drop some trash ass shit like Mr.
It's
Morale.
not trash. It's not trash.
Okay, I'm saying he could say he did drop some just garbage shit. Kendrick fans, like, there's one thing Drake talked about how Kendrick fans literally follow him blindly. Like, they literally is blind.
I don't think they follow him blindly. I think it's showing right now when everyone's talking about people will make some 45-minute video breaking down Kendrick's lyrics and whatnot.
Nah, y'all niggas are crazy.
No,
like,
bro.
The Kendrick fans are crazy, bro. You can't break down lyrics more than they already broke down. If there was a triple entendre, break out the triple entendre.
Y'all also be reaching, though. A lot of the shit y'all be reaching, dog. I'm just being honest.
Like, no. I listened to something. I listened to something the other day, and I was like, it was this Kendrick fan, and he said, I stopped being a fan of Drake when he said something about, like, hands up. Like, it was talking about police brutality in the time when, like, black people were getting shot down on George Floyd.
Drake takes some bad takes.
Yeah, but he does it in the sense. Those are bad takes, and I'm not gonna sit here and like be like, oh yeah, it is a bar, which is
one of the biggest bad takes in this was Drake and his use of calling black people slaves, or Kendrick Lamar was black person slaves. It's like,
no, when dude, you didn't listen to the bar. Then you're doing the same thing you accused us of doing.
What song is it?
That was Family Matters.
Yeah, he said
that Kendrick raps about freeing the slaves, even though he doesn't actually do that in real life. That was his whole point. He said you don't go back to your hood and plant no money trees. And he's basically calling him a fake activist. That's all he was saying. He won't try to make a dig at slavery. He said he raps like he's trying to free the slaves, but he don't actually be doing that in his real life. He don't go back to his hood and plant no money trees.
And Drake has never claimed to be like that either. That's the difference. It's like Drake's not gonna be like, yeah, I'm an activist though, because I ain't never seen Drake stand up and talk about shit about black shit, whatever.
And that's okay, bro.
For stand up for Toronto.
None of us are activists. Nobody on this call are activists. What's it called?
Gang violence in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm probably one of those. I mean, we all have our selfish tendencies, but that's just part of who we are. And it's not a selfish thing to do to not care about things that don't directly.
That doesn't mean that you don't care.
Actually. Like, how are you gonna rap about gang stuff and say you're about that life, and then go and do a stand up for Toronto campaign, stop the gang violence here?
I mean, no gang. I mean,
bro, but I mean, Kendrick's surrounded by the Crips.
He's literally surrounded.
And he's your savior.
What? He talks about it?
Bro, but he raps about shit that contradicts his actual lifestyle. That's what Drake's talking about.
Yeah, because Kendrick goes about the ways of being like, because Martin Luther King Jr., it
just came out that his manager beat his wife. Like, there's actual pictures and Instagrams of the wife talking about it. So he keeps those same people around him, even though he wants to act like Drake is this evil person, bro. All Drake is doing is pointing out the hypocrisy in Kendrick's whole thing that's going on. Like, I don't understand why does everything Kendrick has to say be law, but Drake's not? Like, why can't we just take them both at their word? And then if Kendrick really didn't think he didn't beat his wife, he should have responded to it. He never did.
Responded to it.
No, in the battle. This is a battle.
I know. But the good thing about, a battle with words, it's, I guess this is jumping over to Drake's Heart Part 6. If you're going to try and end the battle on defense, it just kind of makes it like...
He didn't... that wasn't an end.
Okay. We will see it. I have thoughts about that too, that are in Drake's favor. So I can help you guys out too.
Let's okay, finish your point and then we'll move on to the next track.
No, we can go. We can move on to the next one.
Okay. So where were we on 616 LA? So next thing that dropped was Family Matters.
Family Matters was good.
I have a lot of thoughts about Family Matters, and I thought the way Kendrick stepped on it was probably the most genius move in this whole battle. That's the number one move in this whole battle and the number one thing to keep talking about.
Can we just start off by saying Kendrick said he doesn't like the way Drake says nigga, and then he says it at the beginning of Family Matters. And I don't know, after hearing that, it just felt bad again when he said it at the beginning. I was like, ooh, there just seemed to be something else going on there when Drake said it.
No,
but that's what he got his mom to say, because it was his mom in the beginning that said, maybe this time you shouldn't start by saying, nigga, I know you. And he held that in. He said, nigga, I know you.
But Drake did it on purpose, bro.
I know he did it on purpose.
Bro. It's just like...
I know he did it on purpose, but...
He doesn't... Drake is, like, delusional in a really good way for him, right? For example, you ever met a dude that's, like, just an average looking guy that has delusional confidence, thinks he can pull any girl. I mean, I know a guy like that. Like, I know a guy like that. We all know a guy like that, right? Bro, those types of dudes still pull. Like, remember, they still pull at a pretty high ratio sometimes. Like,
what happens when they stop pulling girls? Don't they start going?
They're married.
Grade?
But here's the... Oh, wow, that's crazy. Here's the thing also about what Sterling just said. I take someone as Drake who doesn't take himself too seriously, which I feel differently about Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick takes himself way too seriously.
I think Drake takes himself extremely serious.
Bro, he leans into every joke about him, dog. I feel like you can't say he literally I see Sexy Red. I think you see two bad bitches, and then in his song he's like, shake that ass for Drake, shake that ass for free. Every single thing he leans into, even on the Heart Part 6, where he was like, I don't want to fight with you because you're a woman beater. That'll build into your nature. Once again, he was willing to call himself a chick because Kendrick called him two bad bitches. So he leaned into it again. Like, I feel like, and if you look at anything Drake does,
like gratification from his target audience.
Bro, look at all the shit Drake does. Drake's willing to do all these Taylor Swift commercials where he's just goofy as fuck. Like, I don't think that in real life Drake's someone who takes himself that seriously.
No, I think
he can't,
I just think that it holds up that Drake, he knows how to be famous. And to be famous, you have to lean into those things and hit all these different demographics. You can't be the guy that stands by what they feel like they want to be deep down to be famous.
But he also lets himself be the butt of the joke. He's perfectly fine being the butt of the joke. That's someone who's completely secure in who they are, dude.
This is like when we're talking about Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Or no, Logan Paul to be specific. And how just the fact that you're talking about Logan Paul is what's given him that self-gratification. When you do things like this and hit all these wide audiences, it's because having your name circulate around, being the center of attention, whether it's good or bad, is giving you that self-gratification of, yeah, I'm still the talk of the town. I'm still the man. People love me. People might hate me, but they're going to come to love me because I am me. It's that narcissistic tendencies that allows you to self-deprecate for the greater good of being liked.
And that is a negative in what sense? You basically just said that Drake knows how to play the game better than anyone else.
Yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying that Drake is good at playing the game.
And that's a positive. They are both in the game, so they're both playing a game, and Drake plays it better.
And it just feels like maybe it's just because of the way I believe about myself, like the way that I grew up. There was a time where I wanted to be that person that was liked about everybody, and I tried so hard to be liked from everybody, and it just became exhausting. And then one day I just realized, like, I don't need to be liked by everybody.
I don't think Drake feels that.
You guys, I have my friends, and that's all I need. If people want to like me, they can like me for how I want to portray myself, not for how I want to portray myself to others.
I think without going too deep on outside of the No, I can appreciate that because I think we all have moments in our lives where we're like that. And deep down, every person is like that, regardless of how much you don't try as much as you get older and you start realizing more about you. But stepping away from that or stepping kind of like aside from it, like when it comes to Drake, yes, Drake wants be gratified by people talking about him because that's what makes him Drake. Like, there's not a day and time that Drake doesn't have some type of. It could be minimal news about him. He's got something going on about him. And I think that with Kendrick, yes, Kendrick doesn't know how to be famous. Just call it how it is. He doesn't know how to be famous. It's not to say that he didn't want to be famous at some point, because every person at some point, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, doesn't matter. You want to be famous because you think with fame comes money. That's just natural. That's kind of how people think. Fame, money, period. Guess who got famous with no talent? Kim K. Famous, no talent.
Well, okay. Well, this isn't me like defending the Kardashians, but I think people who have money like that and can maintain money like that has to be smart at some point and have some sort of talent.
No. I'm not saying that she's not talented at what she does. She's a talented promoter of herself, which is basically the 90% of being famous.
Yeah.
But when it talks about Drake being as serious or whatnot, I do believe Drake takes himself seriously to a degree, but he also knows that the things that he's doing is going to get him to the point that he personally wants. Nobody knows Drake's goals. Like, I've never seen him sit on a podcast and talk about his goals in life and X, Y, and Z.
I honestly
Whatever.
think that Drake's goal is just to be famous, like the most famous.
I don't think that's the case. I think that Drake is the most. I think Drake is super competitive. I think his goal is to be number one as long as he can. I don't think it has anything to do with fame. I think he wants.
Drake knows.
Drake hasn't been liked at any point in his career. He came into the game and everybody wanted to call him a culture vulture, out of here, like get him out of here. But he kept dropping hits. I think Drake is a kid that came into his game that everyone kind of gave the cold shoulder to, and then he just sat back, studied the game, got his pen right, and when he had his moment, he never let go of it, and he's not trying to let go of it now. I feel like Drake is like what LeBron is today. Like, LeBron is trying to stay in the game. LeBron should be out of the game right now. Even though he's playing well, but his time has passed him. Like, his era has passed him. He should feel okay walking away. But he doesn't. He still wants to be number one. That's how I see Drake. I see Drake as wanting to be number one. And the fame is part of it. Like, part of being the number one rapper is the fame.
It is.
It is the fame. You can't be number one without the fame. Like, people will forget about you. Like, there's no way you can be claimed number one without the fame. Every number one was the most famous person. Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Eminem, most famous person in the rap game. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everything. I mean, like, LeBron has fame because he was the best player in the NBA for a very,
That's why
very long
everyone
time.
needs to know when to stop their legacy. It's like you start getting people like Sterling now that's saying LeBron, it was.
He was the best player in basketball, not ever, but in basketball for an extended period of time without default. There was nothing that pointed against him. Facts pointed in his direction, and there was no way that somebody could debate that he wasn't number one. Just as much as when it comes to statistics, Drake will always be that way. This goes to your point saying Kendrick doesn't want to be number one, but if you're going to talk big shit, you've got to be number one and somewhere to better stand on business. And he can't stand on legitimate business because Drake's smoking him on number ones, all types of stuff. It's not close when it comes to that stuff. That's the difference in the beef. I'm not saying Kendrick's not holding his own and doing his thing in the battle, because he's definitely doing his thing. But, like, overall, like, we're going to see here in the next week or two, like, what unveils or unfolds, because there is a lot of things that could happen in both directions. I think that Kendrick could stomp on Drake if he really plays his cards right. He could. He really could, because he's in the driver's seat right now, bro. Like, he has got him by the noose. Not by the noose, but he's pulling back on him a little bit. Like, he's got him in a good spot, but Drake has the ability to literally come up on you like crazy. Like, where you won't even be able to come back to back type shit. And it's going to be back to back, and like, it'll be a back to back to back to back. And then you'll see an RDC skit, and then it'll be like, oh, it's raps. Like, that, I mean, that's how quick it can happen for Kendrick. Because there will be a point where Drake's like, fuck it, dude. I'll just rip this whole dude's life up. Like, I'll rip his whole life up.
So
real quick.
Let's discuss Family Matters a little bit. We never really got into it. So like I said, I've been on record. I think Not Like Us is the best bop in this whole thing. I think Family Matters is the best diss track. If we're just talking about a track full of disses, clever wordplay, rapping of disses, I think that this was the best diss track of the thing. That's just my personal opinion. I don't take that as written in stone or anything like that. It's just how I feel. So when I'm looking at Family Matters, I think that just like Kendrick did, where you keep bringing up in Euphoria that he like alludes to things, I think Drake does a lot of alluding to stuff that Kendrick does afterwards. Drake in this song, he mentions you should stop digging for dirt and digging for proof. And he put that in there for a reason. And then it comes out, we know what happens after that. But I personally think in this track, one for all, we also have to remember, as much as we view this as Drake versus Kendrick, it's really not like that. It's Drake versus the industry, and Kendrick is the face of the industry. That's what it really is. Yeah. There's multiple niggas out here that Drake has to address, and we can't say he can't address them because that is not how rap works. Like, if someone mentions your name by name, they need to be addressed. And so he addressed everybody in there. He gave Kendrick more than 4 or 5 minutes of that track was dedicated to Kendrick. And he had good bars. And I think that Drake had the best flip out of anybody in this whole battle with the maybe you're Mike and I'm actually Prince. That flip is absolutely insane lyrical genius. Like, the light is all on your face, just like Mike, talking about his skin condition. Then he said, maybe I'm Prince and you're actually Mike, because Prince changes features to be accepted by the whites, and Top makes you do features to rap with the whites. Then he said, oh, wait, and your brother's Jermaine, and you didn't want him to be in the light. That is absolutely beautiful penmanship that he showed right there. That is the best rebuttal flip, I think, of this whole battle. But that's my first initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts after this was, I feel like the most of the song, Drake takes just surface level jabs. I described it as Drake is coming out slapping at Kendrick with a glove, and Kendrick just puts on brass knuckles and punches him in the face.
He's lying.
The one thing, you the Black Messiah wifing up a mixed queen. That goes back onto Drake is not listening to what Kendrick is saying. It is not about being mixed. It's about claiming your side. Then he goes on this whole thing about Dave Free and his kid. It's like, for one, addressed in what's it called, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But like, even if one of the kids is Dave Free's, at least Kendrick is claiming the kids and raising them.
You can't say that, because even if the daughter's real, the picture that was in the Instagram showed that she thanked her dad for being in the music video. So that means Drake's in her life, just they agreed to not make her public. So if that's the case, that nullifies the daughter on both fronts. So you can't say that.
Yeah. So then I guess if that's it, then we could take out the Dave Free stuff. We could take out the daughter stuff. But I guess, I don't know. Wait, that kind of might draw some problems for us debating later on.
Well, we don't have to actually take it out. I'm just saying, like, I just think the point we have to take out, not the actual things. But
Drake also addresses how, what's it? Is it this one where he addresses that he hasn't, like, seen his wife? No, that's the last one where he talks about stuff like that. So I guess I'll save that for there. So basically, this was a bunch of shots at the kid still. The biggest drop, the thing that I think hold the most light, was saying that Kendrick beat on his wife.
And that they've been engaged since 2015 and they haven't gotten married yet. Yeah. He said, because we know the girls that you actually like.
The Big Steppers, he says, by the time we're hearing this, she's probably already gone. Bro, they are not together. They are separated.
Exactly. That's his point.
Shit.
That's his point. But that's not how Kendrick portrays the relationship. And also, we got to stop pulling at old albums. Nothing that's happened outside of that matters in this battle. The point of a rap battle, like if we're talking about actual battle rapping, I say something and you rebuttal back. If you don't rebuttal back, then we can only take it that you didn't want to touch on that subject. Kendrick's the only one that hasn't, made a statement about any of the allegations towards him. At least Drake is responding. he's saying like he's telling him he plotted the whole daughter thing. He's telling him he's not a pedo. He's telling him that what was the other thing he called out on Drake on? Whatever. Well, he was calling him on his blackness and shit like that, and say he's not part of the culture, even though if you were born in our age group, Drake is about 90% of the hip hop culture that you know. so to say he's not part of the culture is laughable because he's literally like the time trap of our lives as far as hip hop goes. I know he's not time trap for you because you don't listen to him, but I'm saying like 90% of the country and the globe hip hop life is Drake.
It's not the music. I don't know. It's not the music culture that people are talking about. We already touched on the culture vulture thing type of deal, but it's like, you know, how
you can't say, well,
a Canadian dude going to know about American black struggles?
Because his dad's from Memphis.
Whoops, I dropped something. What'd you say?
His dad is from Memphis.
Yeah, but his dad wasn't there at the beginning of his life.
But he got there at some point, though.
At some point.
Before he became a rapper.
Okay.
I mean, he did. They got back and took.
I didn't mean to say okay like that.
Drake's jab at his mixed wife or self-proposed separated wife, whatever, is on purpose because Kendrick loves hitting on the fact, like you said, the culture vulture idea. And he's like, bro, you were gonna wife up a whole ass chick that ain't full black, but you stand for the people. If you know any, let me finish. If you know anything about the black woman and who they are, I know this firsthand. Having two sisters, but specifically a little sister who is black, just as much as a mother who is black, full black. Black women do not fuck with. If you are not black, you are not black. Like if you're a woman and you are mixed, don't like try to play both sides. The same ideology that Kendrick's trying to play with Drake. It is a way of going about it, and I understood it so clearly because I've heard it so many times. Like there is a inherent problem with that, and that's why he's like, you're supposed to be for the black people, everything about the black people, but you went and wiped up the one thing that black women can't stand, and that's people that aren't fully black, aren't fully a part of the culture, which is true as fuck, bro. I don't.
Dr. Umar would not approve.
But that kind of throws Drake back into that category.
But I'm saying Drake made a good. You said it was a surface level hit. It wasn't. That was not surface level. That was put there on purpose. Like on purpose, because he knows that's a sensitive topic for black people in general, is marrying within their race or being within their race. And he was trying to bite at it, saying like, you think you're really all this black, you're all about the people, point blank period, but you really, when you were going to marry a woman, she wasn't fully a part of the culture either, just as much as technically he tries to reside that Drake is fully a part of, or that Drake's not fully a part of the culture because he's not full black.
And Drake also mentions that Kendrick don't really bang like he tried to, like, when he gets all tough, like Drake tried to mention that he don't really bang like that. He said CB.
No, you're doing prison workouts fully clothed.
Bro, come on, push ups and pull ups and bang.
That's just a joke.
But I do want to touch on that real quick because I do think that people take like Drake's appearance a little fucked up, but I personally think, and it's a if you know type situation. I think Drake is more like active in calling, like active in the streets, not in the sense that he gets his hands dirty. The boss never gets their hands dirty, but I think Drake is actively calling plays in the streets. I personally think he's one of the most active in the game, and I think one of the angles that Kendrick can go at him that hasn't been touched yet is on the whole XXX thing. But even that could like validate Drake's claims of like how he's actually active in the game. Like, I don't think niggas like want to fuck with Drake and who he's aligned himself with. And I do think that Drake's out here calling plays and getting people touched. And whether we want to,
he's getting people touched. They're children.
Hell yeah, they are.
What the? I don't know what I just listened to, but
if they talking shit, they getting touched.
There's something that we're forgetting here because this is about the rap game, bro. Like we get that it's like because this beef has already got personal to a point where at first it was like, all right, we're just jabbing at each other, we're punching, we're just taking punches, throwing little like not hooks, not hard right hooks, we're throwing like good like just good jabs, bro. Good ass jabs, clean jabs, no block, no between the mitts type stuff. Like now they're out here fucking hitting sweet chin music on these motherfuckers. Shout out Shawn Michaels. Um, and
Oh,
you don't know who Shawn Michaels is?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was just gonna, yeah.
Oh, but that being said, like I said, we're gonna see here in the next week or two how it continues to go because I believe both of them, in my opinion, I believe both of them have dirt on each other. They still haven't spilled. The reason it's going to take Drake a second is because, yes, he's writing real time, which is fair. But I think Drake's about to trying to cook up something that's going to be like, all right, fucking shut the hell up. Like, shut the hell up. I'm tired of your shit. Like, I'm just going to body you really fast and, like, get a number one hit or make it some type of hit. May not be a number one, but make it a hit. And you're going to have to respond with some surface level BS. Not even surface level, but some made up stuff that he knows is made up. That's what makes it fun is when people start telling lies about you that you know they ran out of ammo. It's like, all right, that we win.
So, should we move on to the next track?
Cheers,
Yeah, Drake put out that, and then Kendrick slapped him with not slapped him. He threw out Meet the Grams.
Yeah, and we can kind of lump in Meet the Grams and Not Like Us since they're back to back and just kind of speak on both of them.
Like,
yeah.
Jesus, this is when it starts getting diabolical. Like, how do you start this song, Dear Adonis?
That was when I heard that, I was like, oh,
that man is your father. Let me be honest.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, he came at like fatherhood, which I know if my dad, somebody was coming at his fatherhood, that's the time when you be like, all right, nah.
Yes,
bro,
I think.
But Drake's actually an active dad, though.
This is when it's like, getting to the point where it's like a power move that Kendrick released stuff back to back to back. Because as a dude, if a guy talked to my son in a song like this, I would want to clap back with something super hard afterwards. But Drake couldn't do that because then Like That came out afterwards.
Not Like Us,
Not Like Us. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, so this is basically when he's saying. Okay, so yeah, everyone thinks the biggest bombshell is him talking about the daughter. I think the biggest bombshell is really going into the Predator stuff because, like you were saying, Drake is an active dad. Well, in this, he criticizes Drake for keeping his kids around the pedo shit that's happening. So he can be an active dad that's complimenting his kids. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, you spoke. You spoke, Sterling. But yeah, so it could be, Drake's an active dad now, but he's around all this weird stuff, and now he's bringing his kids around all this weird stuff.
So
I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, Diddy exists? So he ruined it for everybody. All the freaks out there, he ruined it for them. But he ruined it for the freaks.
Okay, never mind.
And this might be a crazy claim, and I hope this isn't true. This is like a stretch, super stretch. What if he uses Adonis and his friends as a part of his, so to say, pedophilia? Like,
it has some very deep, like dark implications.
Well, it's a stretch.
This is not even something you just talk about like allegedly like that. Like that's. Well,
let me go back on topic to the lyrics. My last thing is so talking about how Kendrick thinks he has a plant inside. My one thing with Drake's Heart Part 6, it seems so put together and full of holes. It seems like Drake went on Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and just saw the hypothesis that people were putting out, like, this is the only way Drake can come back. I saw someone even put out before the Heart Part 6 come out, it's like, the only way Drake can come out this is if he just, like, puts together or says, oh, yeah, we fed you the information. And then
But he alludes to it in Family Matters. He mentions that Kendrick should be digging for proof instead of digging for dirt. So he alludes to the fact that he knows what Kendrick's about to say.
And in Meet the Grams, this might be a reach, but when he's going about all the people he lied about, you lied about your son, you lied about your daughter, huh? that seems like Kendrick's alluding to Drake saying that he's gonna say that he has a daughter, or he doesn't have a daughter, and that it was a lie. Of like coming back to him and saying like, "Okay, you saying you lied about your daughter, huh?"
Okay, but here's the other thing we gotta keep in mind. Here's the other thing we gotta keep in mind. What did Kendrick do on Not Like Us?
He dropped a banger calling OVO pedophiles.
Yeah. So what didn't he speak to?
I know you're going back to this. You're going to say he didn't speak about the Whitney stuff.
No, he didn't speak to the daughter. He didn't speak to the daughter at all. I think that's a telling sign. Like when you have something on somebody, you fucking dig that. Especially the way Kendrick's been rapping, bro. He would have dug that knife in, and like explained it even deeper. Like he would have got even deeper, bro. You don't think Kendrick would have? You think he would have got deeper into it?
I don't think that is the angle that Not Like Us was supposed to be about. I think that is like a creepy banger because it's a banger that talks about such creepy stuff, and talking about the daughter did not belong on that.
No. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, maybe that's the case. But so to speak on Meet the Grams and Not Like Us, I think that, I personally, this is how I view how Drake went into this rap battle and how he misconstrued how Kendrick would go into it. I think that Drake went into this battle knowing that Kendrick had nothing on. I think that Drake thought that he was going to play on the young girl thing, but to a Leo DiCaprio type thing. Like Leonardo DiCaprio's whole thing, he likes 20-year-olds. We all know that.
What does that just say about your character if you assume
it's legal? It doesn't matter. It's legal. There's nothing wrong with that. It's legal. What does it say about your character? If you smoke weed, if you drink, if you do cocaine, all that shit, blah, 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 blah. It's legal, right? Well, those things aren't legal, but
it's legal, boys.
But it's legal. So I think that Drake felt like he had nothing. And if we're taking everything at face value, he claims he planted the daughter's story. So if I had to get into the headspace of Drake, I think to him, Family Matters was the absolute to him that should have been the knockout punch because he's speaking on things that have more realistic things, and I don't think he ever thought in a million years Kendrick would take the young girl route to he's like Weinstein and Epstein. I don't think he ever thought in a million years, which is why I think he kind of sounded the way in The Heart Part 6, because he kind of sounded like this is how I view it. When we were all kids and we used to make our own Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards, right? And I throw down, this dragon breathes fire, and it's got 2,500 XP. And then the way I feel like Kendrick did the whole child sex trafficking thing is the one kid that's like, oh yeah, well my monster can't die and it can do any move that your kid does. And it's like, well, all right, well what the fuck are we supposed to do here? Like,
I feel like from a legal standpoint, something has to be solid because you don't just accuse someone of being a pedo and say the things you do because that is like legal defamation lawsuit right there, and we know Drake will work with the police, but
no, he won't, bro.
Like, you don't.
There's no paperwork of him being sick.
He worked with the police back when he got his chain stolen. He's working with the police now when his dude got popped.
Bro, those are completely different things. Those aren't like snitch things. Those are like the cops came and he got his chain snatched. My bodyguard got shot up in front of my house, bro. Oh no, I didn't see nothing.
But there is given a statement and then there is cooperating.
But there's no paperwork of Drake cooperating on anything.
Drake ain't working with the police.
There's nothing.
He ain't working with the police. Drake's not working with the police. He is the police, bro. You think a cop? You think if I was a cop and I pulled up to Drake on some weird shit, knowing that he guilty of some shit, he said, "Hey man, I got 10 bands for you every month. You shut the fuck up." All right, bet, bro. All right, bet.
So go into what's it called? Not Like Us. So from my side of this whole thing and this song, I have a theory that goes for both people. I'll say that theory right now. Going for the Drake side. Well, I guess we should touch on the heart, but going from the Drake side, I feel as though when I listen to The Heart Part 6, there are so many plot holes and double negatives that feels like a setup of knowing, hey, Kendrick fans look into lyrics really good. So I'm going to leave a bunch of holes in my lyrics so that they can take it apart and say that I ended on such a bad song and give him that win. He could even flip it all the way back to the Euphoria definition of they almost had a week to recover from Tuesday's victory, even though today's not Tuesday. Oh, wait, no, today is Tuesday, but the song was released on
Tuesday.
Sunday. But flipping it all the way back there, giving them what they want, the song with a bunch of holes that makes it seem like he's defeated and blah, 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 to then come back with a banger, bring some of the receipts, the damning evidence. That's my Drake hypothesis right here. My other hypothesis is it seems very rushed. It seems very put together. It seems like some of the people that advise him or help him with his songs stepped away after all this damning stuff came out because maybe it's true in a sense. And some of the people that are with him that are close are cutting ties and leaving, allowing Drake, we'll go back to the ghostwriter. I'll make the joke of he has 20 ghostwriters and The Heart Part 6 sounds like they all left and he wrote that song. But with everyone's broken down, not like us, to the point where, just go watch a video. But one thing I haven't seen people talk about is how creepy the fucking outro is. When he goes, "Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way, step that way, step this way, step that way." It's catchy, but when I hear that, and when I just sit and think about that, it has some dark undertones on an already creepy song calling basically a whole group of people pedophiles. And this seems like if you know about these sex rings and things, they have some phrases that they use to coerce people into doing stuff that are like common phrases known amongst the groups. This seems like one of those phrases that would be used.
But why would Kendrick know it?
Because he has someone on the inside. If we're taking what I'm saying about that,
you got to take that face value for his point. Yeah.
Yes. So if we are taking that, then this seems like something that is close to the damning stuff that Kendrick's talking about, that he then throws out there in this poppy song that everyone's now singing, that then everyone that knows the deeper, darker connotations of this are just like, oh shit, he does actually know. And it's like, yo, Drake, just come on, wave the white flag real quick, maybe get one jab in there, but this is actually, he knows what he's talking about type of deal. Those are my two crackpot theories right here. But that is what I left this song off on. Okay.
So, I never thought about that. That's interesting to say. Like, I'm not gonna say you're wrong because there are theories. And that would be a very masterful one. So that would be interesting. I will say that the step this way, step that way is definitely a play on Tootsie Slide.
But yeah,
that is interesting.
The way he says it, "Are you my friend?" It's just it's eerie. It's eerie.
Yeah, I feel like he should have ended with another OVO because that's just mad catchy.
OVO.
I like that.
OVO.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can kind of just touch on. We can throw them all in there. We're at the end, right?
Sorry, that's the one thing I wanted to also talk about. Dang, I got to my theory too soon. Once upon a time, all of us in chains, homie doubled down, calling us some slaves. And then Kendrick basically explains the reason why he doesn't think Drake is black right here, and that's the whole thing I was alluding to of how he is literally taking from all these artists. He's not using them as colleagues. He's using them to help boost himself and get further into an industry he wasn't a part of, and that's the culture vulture. You go to someone to get your street credit.
I do agree that he uses younger rappers to stay more relevant. But I mean, I also think that that's just a route that other people have never thought to do, and I also don't think it's like him trying to grab their sound. I think it's also, I put these people on, so you're forever in debt to me. So it's like, you're not an enemy to me, which obviously it still backfired to him because every single person on this disc, Drake put on. And that's documented. Drake put him on his first tour when nobody was rocking with Kendrick like that. Drake gave him his first big shot. Drake gave Weeknd his first big shot. Drake.
I don't think that those things should be like Like, okay, at the end of the day, people are people and want to hang out. And the fact that he's helped out this many people, and after he's helped them out, it's just like, you know what? I don't think I like this guy. It sits wrong. It sits wrong with me, and it presents like a, why has this many people have been like, oh yeah, Drake, you helped me out, you're so good, blah blah, and then yeah, no, there's something I don't like about him.
But it's also a thing of, he helped them out. They got big. They got to a point where they're his peers. But 15 years later, this nigga's still in the same position, and I want your spot. I see all that as a bunch of niggas. Even Kanye said it. Yeah, Kanye said we're all joining up for the elimination of Drake. They just want that spot to be open. They want somebody else to be able to claim it, for it to be up for grabs, bro. That's just the way kingdoms fall. Like, if you're at the top too long, everybody wants to see you fall. And the thing is, we have Kendrick and the whole industry backing him, jumping in, throwing disses at him. And I don't think anybody on this call will say that Drake is falling, which is impressive. Because most people, there's not many rappers that you can name that the whole industry backed them and went at them on a single diss like this at one time, that they would live to see the outside of that. Drake held his own, bro. Like, it's so impressive how he was been able to attack so many people and still keep his eyes on the one person. Like, whether you think he won or lost, that's another thing. But the fact that he was able to be in this battle with Kendrick, yeah, also, here's the best thing. You know how in superhero movies, at the very end, the last fighting scene, the villain always has, like, either this army of robots they created or a bunch of fucking minions, and they send them after him. And Drake basically, like, knock all of them down, and then you get the last showdown. It's like, all right, I beat all them niggas you sent at me. It's just me and you, motherfucker. That's basically what Drake did this whole time. Like, everybody that was on Kendrick's corner, he shot them down. We can shut your dumb ass up. All he gave niggas like your music. That's basically what he said. He said, Metro, shut your dumb ass up. Make some motherfucking drums, bro. Rick Ross, shut your officer ass.
BBL Drizzy.
Yo, that beat's hard. But did you see all this shit about Metro and all his old, like, pedophile tweets? And now he's...
Yeah,
that shit's crazy. But, I mean, I just think that it's impressive what Drake's been able to do. Drake is like the lone soldier. There's no one in his corner, and everybody's shooting at him, bro. And, like, you might have scratched him up, but he's not down, bro. He's still standing. And we all know the next thing he drops is going to, like... I also think that their attempt to bring him down just sharpened his pen. Like, I think we got a new hungry Drake. He's rapping like he used to back in the day. I think they might have fucked up. I think you're going to get a whole better project out of him now. Like, bro's about to eat.
I'm on the fence about that. You know, I can go both ways. Like, I can see this as... Because... Okay, we'll get to the Heart Part 6 because you guys think it's good. I think it is the worst diss track in this whole beef right here.
All right, we're going to go line for line. I'm going to rebuttal your points against them. So let's go line for line.
Okay, first one.
Say your point and then let us respond.
We're all clowns. We plotted a week and then fed you the information. Okay, if the ones he got the information from are clowns, saying there's one on the inside, but you plotted and gave him the information, are you calling yourself the clown?
Okay, so my rebuttal back to that point is that Drake was saying that the shit that you got about the pedophile shit is clowns. He wasn't talking about the daughter shit. Like, those were two different points because, like you said, Meet the Grams has two different storylines. So the only thing Drake is claiming to have sent to him, because I see a lot of people saying, why would he, like, tell him to call him a pedo? Like, Drake, that's not what he's implying he implanted. He's only claiming the daughter thing. That's the only thing he's claiming that the mole planted. So I think he's talking about whatever news you got from the pedo shit is clowns. That's what I think. That's what I think.
We could take it at that. I already talked about why he can go to and why is Whitney denying the allegations. Why is she falling day free on Mr. Morrell? Okay, that part, it's like, you know, just listen to Mr. Morrell and the Big Steppers, you know?
I don't know.
Bro, nobody wants to listen to that shit, dog.
He talks about it, but
well, if it was a Good Kid, Mad City, we would go back and listen to it.
Even hearts emoji on pics of the child. But he's taken such, like, millennial-ass jabs. It's like, Basically, he's saying like, you guys are all separate. You and your wife are separated. Ha ha ha. It's like, okay, yes, we're separated. Fine. Okay.
But I don't think that's just an okay to Kendrick. I don't think Kendrick just wants that to like be the story. Like, I don't think Kendrick just saw that's like, okay.
He doesn't care if it's because it's on Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers. He keeps talking about like, this is the album where I'm vulnerable. I talked about all that. It's deep. Listen to it. You'll understand me and my situation better. And
But he also claims that he's no longer parenting his kids, that he's not even living with them. And he's in two completely different states.
Yeah, he in New York, right?
And that's been proven. That's been proven that the house sold.
He also talked about how, you know, when you're that, you can catch a flight back, just catch a flight all over the place. So it's not like, I don't know. We'll take that. It's another one. It's like, this is so hard. It's all hearsay, say. And you all think Drake has the better lyricism. I think Kendrick does. So it's just, my
point for Drake having better lyricism is that he writes in real time.
Okay, my biggest problem, my 100% biggest problem is my mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second, isn't that the record you got molested? How the fuck are you going to talk about fact checking your information when you get the record you're talking about wrong? It's like, holy shit, dude. You think Kendrick talked about him being molested on that song? He did not. He was talking about how his cousin was accused of touching him. Everyone was like, Kendrick, did he touch you? And he said, no, he didn't. But they didn't believe me.
Who didn't believe him?
What?
Who didn't believe him?
Everyone, he said his mom didn't believe him.
The big thing was his mom. So remember that. Now finish your point.
Because his mother was molested, and the whole song was about generational trauma. And yeah.
So I think what Drake did there was actually clever. Because when I actually did go back and listen to that track, because I wanted to see, like, damn, like, there's no way Drake did he not, like, proofread that? Like, what happened? So the whole thing about that track is that no one believed him when he said he didn't get molested. So Drake's whole thing, mother I, oh, that's when you say you got molested. He's basically saying, like, I don't believe you either. And he took that as in, like, this is why you're so harped up on that, because it actually happened, and you're and you're reliving that through this right here.
That is a good take on that, but even still, it's like, when you are being accused of a pedophile shit, and then you're going to go and victim blame someone who was potentially involved in child sex crime.
He's just he's doing the same thing that y'all say that Kendrick.
No. Mariah Carey, "Touch My Body" by Mariah Carey. That is a joke jab right there,
bro. That's funny.
Yes, that is a joke jab.
That's funny.
When you're being accused of pedo shit of a guy who was involved potentially, if you would believe what he says here, with pedo shit.
Okay, but here's the thing though. I want to be able to speak on that because I think that you read Drake's lyrics at a surface level because you don't think that you feel the need to have to dissect it. But
no, I dissect it.
No, but here's the thing though. When Drake does those kind of things, he's not making fun of Kendrick for being molested. He's doing the thing that y'all give Kendrick credit for breaking down Drake's character. That was Drake breaking down Kendrick's character. Why are you so obsessed with this pedo angle that's clearly not true? Oh, it's probably because you actually did get molested. And this is just trauma that's pulling back up on you. And in this battle, you are putting that trauma onto Drake. And Drake breaks that down very clearly how everything he's doing is in a battle. And yeah, he put the Touch My Body Mariah Carey, but it's at the end of this, it's this battle. And I hate when people say, dude, the molested thing was so insensitive. You called him a child trafficker. There's no worse, thing. After that, it's game over. That's the worst thing you can put on anyone's jacket, bro. I'm going to say anything about you, bro.
Good defense. About good defense. Even if it's the defense he's playing right now incriminates him a little bit in the public opinion, the court of public opinion, incriminates him a little bit because of, if you're just going to deny the pedo shit, deny the pedo shit. Don't deny the pedo shit and then victim blame someone for a pedo shit, because that just kind of sounds like you're just being hurt that someone found out something that's true, so you're trying to flip it back onto them.
I think that's just Kendrick and Drake haters not able to hear Drake's point because they just want to hate it. Because one thing about like I've tried to be fair on let's take everything for face value, but when you really listen to like when you're on Twitter, you're reading things that anyone who's going for Kendrick, it's literally the moment Drake says something that's a lie, and the moment Kendrick, like if Kendrick comes back and says and shows no proof and be like, "Nah, I didn't beat my wife," and that's just a lie, everyone's gonna be like, "See, he didn't beat his wife, he didn't do it," and then they'll just take that as fact. And but I mean, like the whole thing.
Okay, so wait, like if Kendrick does say I didn't hit my wife, how can you provide proof of that? Do you just bring
you can't? You have to take it at face value.
Did I hit you?
You have to take it at face value. What I'm saying is, you have to give Drake that same grace. Like if all it takes is for Kendrick to say he didn't do it on the next track, and you come up here and say, "See, he didn't do it," then you have to take everything Drake say at that same face value because there's no proof on anything. That's my whole point.
Yes, at the end of the day, my biggest thing is if someone can prove that Drake did do the pedo shit, and that has hard receipts, you can get hard receipts for that. But there are, receipts floating around the internet.
The pedo shit for Diddy took a decade, 2 decades.
No, but no, because here's the difference. Every person who's ever had those claims on them, there were stories and accusations against them. Nothing ever happened. P. Diddy, hella stories, hella accusations, trials that were paid off, never happened. R. Kelly, we all knew he peed on an underage girl's leg. We thought it was funny until like the law got involved, and then we're like, oh shit, now that I think about it, it's actually pretty fucked up. But we all knew the R. Kelly shit. It was in his music. There's nothing out there like that on Drake. There's the 17-year-old thing in that video where she came out and said that was nothing.
On Drake. Okay.
And even Bella Hadid was one of the ones that they said that he did that with. Her dad defended him on this diss battle saying the shit that they're saying about Drake and his pedophile shit is disgusting. Her dad, one of the ones that people are trying to point at that Drake did shit with when he was younger, defended Drake during this diss battle, bro.
Okay, so the angle is Drake did stuff with them. It's not that it's the grooming in a sense. Like if I, as a 30-something, or I'm not 30, but as a 26-year-old dude, have that many 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old people in my contacts I'm talking to regularly, it doesn't, it's weird, dude. It
is weird, but when those allegations came out, he was 20.
There are so many instances, let's see, of, okay, so we already touched on the 20
also,
case in the first. Toronto
age of consent is different than America. That's also got to be.
I know, but it's always said when you have to start bringing up the age of consent, and that's
when it gets fucked up. Yeah, that's when it gets fucked up.
Like if you are messing with someone that's young enough to where it's like, oh, the age of consent is this, dude. You're already like, that is weird. You might not be illegal, but it's like, I thought this concert though was at it was not in Toronto. It was in the U.S. still.
Yeah, but he was 20 then. He was also 20.
He was 23 years old, kissing a 17-year-old fan, and it's just, oh my god, it's like, getting up there, kissing on her neck, blah, blah, didn't know that yet. How old are you? 17? Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but why do you look like that? That's another thing, like, why are you gonna
Can we be honest, Chad? Have we ever scrolled through TikTok, saw girls like, damn, what the fuck is that, and then realized she was younger and shit.
You don't go back and start kissing on them still. You're not gonna go back and be like, oh shit, dude, why do they look like that? Okay, let me go through the discography. Let me look at the rest. Let me see.
And then also,
okay,
so when you say,
it's weird.
When you say, because what you just did right there is you peeled it, you took some off the brakes. You took some off the gas. You said that there's like a little bit of a grooming thing that he's doing there. Kendrick said he's child trafficking. So
yeah, well, I guess he didn't really necessarily say Drake was doing it. He said
he said it's happening in Drake's house. That means Drake is child trafficking.
Yeah.
That means Drake is child trafficking, bro. So my whole thing is, I think that Drake knew that he was going to take the young girl angle, but never thought the motherfucker would throw child trafficking on his jacket. It was kind of like, hey, bro, that's a little too fucking far. And I think, and if it's not true, that is fucked up as shit. Yeah. Just to win a battle, like that just like to me, if that's not true, that just shows that Kendrick felt like that was the only thing he could do to win this battle was just throw like the ugliest lie on this man's name. And I feel like that's kind of why in the Heart Part 6, Drake sounded the way he did because he was like, bro, Because you can't win for losing. If he would have came back with a hard ass fucking bop and didn't mention the trafficking thing, everybody would have been, convinced he's a trafficker. If he comes in here and he makes a defensive track trying to break out all the reasons why he did, then we say he's a loser.
A hard ass popping thing and still deny the allegations.
No, bro, you can't be like you can't have base jumping and say I'm not a pedo, bro. You gotta have to be serious.
I want to defend the okay, before we get to the Freudian slips, just a slight music jab. B sharp is not a chord.
Okay, I'll give you that. But it still sounded hard.
Yes.
And the D flat D major was hard too.
I get the only fuck with Whitney's not Millie Bobby Brown's Whitney Houston Bobby Brown, but come on, still, man. Everyone's gonna jump on the Millie Bobby Brown thing. Why are you gonna just throw that in there for them?
Yeah, I mean that shows a lack of awareness.
Teenager, we can go back to the concert where he saw the 17-year-old dance on her, found out she was 17, and looked back again. Technically,
he looked back at a teenager.
But also one look. We're good with one look.
I mean, you got to look once to figure out if she's a teenager.
You got to.
Dropping the Epstein thing, that seemed like a Freudian slip. I don't know. Is there a bar somewhere in that? Because
he says Weinstein.
Said Harvey Weinstein.
So, but he's alluding to child trafficking. So I mean, I can understand what he's saying. I don't know why he didn't just say the Weinstein thing though.
I don't know why, because it still would have rhymed, man. It still would have rhymed.
Scene.
It seems like a Freudian slip there. Yeah. We talked about most of the other stuff I had. Yeah.
But you don't give him no credit for the Hard Part 6 writing that in real time. Like, I feel like you're downplaying the fact that Drake didn't come up with 19 minutes of music. Drake waited for Kendrick to drop, would write shit to his bop, and send it back out and rebuttal and flip, which is what you're supposed to do in a rap battle. You're supposed to rebuttal and flip.
If we're going to do that, then it seemed like in real-time S-ness, which one is this? It seemed like Drake's first two disses went in hand with each other. Like, with it seemed like those two were written at the same time and broken out.
I definitely think majority of it was written and planned. I think there was a lot of jabs that in Family Matters that Drake was responding to obvious flips that Kendrick had.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, like, when we're talking about, like, stuff, like, at the level of where Kendrick's going, like you said, Mike, I mean, like, it's so radical. Like, if it comes out that there's, like, not even a true allegation against Drake, it's going to be extremely distasteful, not only for, Drake fans or people that are like just hip hop fans, but it'll be distasteful for people like you too, Chad. And you should be distasteful. It should be something that leaves a nasty taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
No Diddy though.
And if it comes out that he actually is a pedo, then get him the fuck out of here. We don't need that type of shit in our community. Well, so it goes both ways.
You can make some music from jail though.
I think the whole outro
first day out
should have just been cut.
The what?
What was this whole outro part? Like, come on. Like, this is what has me thinking that Drake might be waving a false white flag, because this is definitely a white flag. The spoken outro, that is definitely a white flag, and it's like, come on. Why would you add that in there if you're going to come back with more?
I do think it's a false white flag. I agree. It comes off 100% as a white flag. But I personally don't think there's a white flag. And the podcasts that I listen to that are connected to OVO say that they don't think he's done. And the way that he's talked this whole time, he's dropped subliminals. Like he'll drop a line in in the next track that Drake is going to drop, just in a random conversation, and it'll be an exact line. And so when he says like, I don't think that this is the end, I kind of feel like he's alluding to like this ain't the end.
To be honest, this whole accusation falls on Kendrick. I was thinking about that the other day, and I think that out of the facts that can be proven from a he said, she said type of situation, Kendrick is the only one that can bring actual facts to the situation. And whether you want to believe that Drake is a master manipulator or can do it, Drake has so many accusations against Kendrick that can be, except for the wife beating part, but the feeding the information, the pictures of the pill bottles and everything were just a joke, blah blah blah. Which again, like there's the Cosby drug in that picture, and it's like, if you're getting accused of pedo stuff, why include that as a joke also? But maybe it's just run with it. But the pictures, we have a person that fed you information about the daughter. Those all can be easily fabricated. Like, come on, easily.
But they can also be easily proven.
It can be easy. Wait, how do you mean by easily proven?
That he planted everything can be easily proven. And I've seen a lot of people saying, why would he do that immediately? I feel like in a normal...
that's what I'm saying. For him to prove that they fed Kendrick the information could be easily fabricated. Just go grab your boy and record a video of like, oh yeah, this security camera footage. You can make such like an AI generated voice recording of like, yeah, this is the information we're giving. Well, I guess.
But here's the thing. Most of these rap battles, like we think that they're rapping for us, but they're really rapping for like the industry. Because the industry catches every line that they're saying. Like they know
and that
these
was
stories.
another.
So like it would be something that we would say is fabricated, but it could also be something that Kendrick's like, oh fuck.
That was another disheartening thing of, most of these rap battles that come like this, it's like no one ever brings receipts most of the time. Like there are little receipts after the rap battle.
Pusha T did.
Pusha T did? Okay.
Yeah, he said the name and where and the Instagram handle of the mom.
Yeah.
But
Pusha said you to Pusha T.
Yeah, basically the hard part sticks to me felt like Drake saying, "I'm too famous to get caught doing this stuff."
I mean,
it did sound like that. I will give you that. I thought that was the
Diddy
worst.
was too famous. Diddy was too famous.
Like I feel like a famous person is the person that I would think would be able to pull it off. But
yes, like child trafficking is not a poor person's activity. No. It's like you can't get away with it as a poor person.
You have
to be rich and famous to do that. So most of the people that get caught are famous.
Yeah, I thought that was a stupid line.
When I look at this, if I can go with what Michael said, there are less holes than what I thought. I still think that there are a lot of weird plot holes. I can take the side of they're intentional to come back and release hits, or I can take the side of, maybe Drake does have ghostwriters and they're stepping back and Drake actually wrote this song and that's why there's so many plot holes. But those are my takes on this stuff.
Hey, shout out to them ghostwriters. They've been making bangers for years now.
Quickly speaking on the grooming stuff to go along with that allegation, it's just the thing that most of the time, the groomer, it's called grooming for a reason. You make friends with them when they're young, and then when they get of age, that's when you start making moves. And there is a few instances, more than a handful of instances of Drake making friends with someone when they're young, and then when the time comes and they're above age, then pursuing the stuff. There's a entire thread with receipts, and most times, it goes back into the psychology of, I guess instead of to catch a predator, how to be a predator, and things like that. And I don't know. In my truth, this is a lot of damning evidence that, for me, hasn't been resurfacing. This is the reason why I don't like Drake to begin with. Because way back when, I started seeing this stuff, I'm just like, that's kind of weird. But yeah.
I mean, I think you heard it here first. Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper of all time, according to Chad.
I did not say that at all.
Oh, my bad.
No, I feel like everybody was pretty fair, and like this is why I really wanted Chad up here because me and Sterling would have just been echoing a lot of the same sentiment back and forth to each other.
Shitting on him.
And this is a much better discussion because we get to hear both sides. And it really is a he say, she say. It's like, if you're on Drake's corner, you want to believe what Drake's saying. If you're on Kendrick's corner, you want to believe what Kendrick's saying. I'm always someone that, like, the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. And if we're gonna say the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle, Drake is probably not a child trafficker, but he's probably not the best human either. And maybe has a certain lapse of judgment with younger girls, but I'm not going to say underage girls. And then if we're going to be honest with Kendrick holds himself as this Gandhi character, and probably in real life is probably more likely that he is not like that 24/7. He grew up in Compton. There's probably a lot of fucked up shit Kendrick has done in his life, and we don't know. His manager has been proven to beat on his wife, and they covered it up. There's Instagram pictures of his wife and being beaten on, and then they covered it up. So that has happened in his camp, close to him. So it's not like we can say that shit ain't happening around Kendrick that's questionable, that we can't kind of call out his character as well as a human. So
I think one last thing I would say is the biggest thing that I think Kendrick is trying to say is it's a fact, like with the morality thing. He never says that he's like this great person. And I think another problem that he had with Drake before he started dealing into this hard stuff was that it's about growing up. It's about understanding that you're not the best person. It's about understanding that you've made mistakes. But then if we're going to take the biblical route, repenting, understanding that I've done some bad things or people have done some bad things. And I understand that those were bad. And I have become a better person from that with better morals at the end of the day. Not keep falling back into those habits. I don't know. Maybe that's why I know one of the biggest damning thing is he's featured Kodak Black on that. Maybe they had a long conversation, long talk. And
I don't have any problems with that.
They explained their morals, and that's why he's like, okay, do this. But there was definitely some areas where Kendrick realizes he is not the higher person,
I do agree with that. I do think that Kendrick doesn't view himself as the higher person, but I do think that he allows the public to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that he allows the public to, and Drake is. I think Drake's angle was, hey man, the public views you as this way, and he was trying to point at the fact that, hey, you might be cool, you might have grown up and everything, but it's much easier to grow up when your bodies are in the forefront. Let's see how easy it is for you to grow. Let's see how grown up you are now when the public knows who you really are. Because when everybody's looking at you as a saint and you feel like, oh, I've recovered from my sins, it's much easier. No one's over here like, oh, remember that time when you beat your wife? Everyone's just smiling in your face. And they're like, oh, you're amazing and stuff like that, and looking at him as this guy. But if it was some big ass news, let's say it's true because it's alleged, if it was a big ass news across the story, that perception of Kendrick is not the same, regardless of what he wrote in Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
I know. And right now, Kendrick only has to address his fans that would listen to the album and whatnot. Because as we were saying, besides the allegation, Kendrick doesn't have much to lose. He put it all out there already, and the people that know and listen to his music know about, all that he has put out there and what he thinks about it and what has happened. So it's like, at the end of the day, he has really nothing to lose besides the allegations. If the allegation
he's in final form, as they say,
comes out as extremely false, and he has everything to lose there, because then it's like, his core audience is like, dude, you lied about that. That's pretty bad. But yeah, we will see. We will see.
Well, this is a good discussion. If we do get more music, maybe we can revisit this. It will be interesting to see somebody. Hopefully, I hope that they continue dropping music, and we can get some kind of clarity.
That's not one. Kendrick's, top dog. You're gonna say we could all say top dog as. It's like Kendrick's gonna step back and work on the album and stuff like that. But I just wanted that bar to be true. How many do I have in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. We only got 5, man. Where's the other 5?
Oh, I think he's got 5 more. I think he's got 5 more for sure. I think Kendrick's got a lot of tracks to drop, and I don't think Drake was anticipating to have to go this many rounds. So I feel like this break is good for both of them, so they can kind of recoup. You can see the landscape. As far as public perception goes, Kendrick is clearly number one right now. Like, there's nothing that we could say in disregard to that, right?
The best take I had on this is like, unless like actual pedo receipts come out, Kendrick won this fight, but in the end, we talked about Drake knows how to be famous. He will win. He will recover and come back on top unless there is extremely damning evidence about it. No questions asked. Like we said, Drake knows how to be famous. It might damage his character, and maybe he's not on top as high as on top. But in this day and age, the internet remembers, but the internet also forgets. People are quick to just, want to forget the bad things and just go back to how things work.
Yeah, I concur.
If that is all everything has to say, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like this is the end of the podcast, end of the discussion. I hope that you enjoy. This is a good one. It's always good to have the old CTO back on the pod. Hopefully we can do this again if they drop some more music. For the fellas out there listening, listen, man, don't beat your wife. Don't do no child trafficking. Just just cut all that out. Be a good person. Quit your bitching. Get your bread up. Because they only want 1% niggas. They want a 1% man. That's what they want. All right? And then for the ladies out there listening, listen. He ain't going to respond to you. He's too tied into his Kendrick Drake beef. If they drop in a second, don't expect that late night text. He's got things to do. So move on, all right?
He's not cheating.
But you're still beautiful and powerful, and we'll always love you. It's the After Dark Podcast. Until next time.